Hey everybody, I'm here to talk to you about section 3. I did again take some notes on my phone, so I'm going to kind of refer back and forth. So when they get off the train, they have arrived at Birkenau, and it's one of the very first selections. And so initially the men and women are separated, and unfortunately this is the last time that Ellie will ever see his mother and his three sisters. He's unsure if they are killed right away because some of them are children and they are older, or if they survive and die in the concentration camps. But whatever the case may be, he never sees them again. Ellie is told right away that he needs to lie about his age and what he does for a living. This is because if you are seen as too young or seen as too old and you cannot work in these camps, then they have no use for you and they would kill you immediately. So Ellie is 15 at the time and his father is 50. They both lie and say that they are 18 and 40, respectively. Ellie also says that he's a farmer instead of a student. This just shows that Ellie has the capability of labor and that he is very strong, um, unlike maybe just a normal student, but he is used to labor and hard work. So he finally learns that they're at this concentration camp not for labor, but to be killed. And so the rumor is that they should start to rebel and that they should try to fight back. But that does not turn out in their favor, and they decide that that's probably not the best case scenario. After they've gone through this decision making process, this doctor named Dr. Mengele walks through and chooses those who will be selected. If you are interested in some history about the Holocaust, look up Dr. Mengele. He was unfortunately Hitler's right-hand man. He would often do experiments on twins and triplets and children, and just was a horrible, horrible man who would not necessarily kill people immediately, but would torture them until their death. So after they've gone through this selection process, Ellie is excited that he gets to remain with his father, even though there is a lot of uncertainty kind of looming ahead. They don't know whether they are heading to the crematorium, will they will die immediately, or if they are heading to the prison. So they are moving towards the prison at this point, and they are seeing some of the most horrific sights and sounds of their entire life. They see that there's a huge pit where they are just tossing in babies and children and burning them alive, and then another pit for older adults. So at this point, Ellie cannot believe what he's seeing. He's breaking down in tears. Humanity is no longer existent. He starts to pray, praying for death, whether it's him dying or the people around him who are dying. He says that his first night in the concentration camp is something that he will never, ever forget. Sorry, I had to pause because I'm outside and my dog started to go a little crazy. So, they are walking towards their living quarters, which are called the barracks, and they are stripped, they are shaved, they are disinfected with gasoline, showered, and then they are put in their prison uniforms, which are the striped clothing. At this point in time, they still really have no idea what's going on. So Ellie's father asks if he can use the restroom. And when he asks if he could use the restroom, they beat him. And Ellie makes no attempt to try and stop what's happening. He kind of stands there frozen, and he's appalled at what he has done. He's completely failed his father. Once they've arrived at their barracks, they soon after make the march from Birkenau to Auschwitz, where they're stationed for 3 weeks. At this point in time, they get the prison numbers tattooed on their arms, and they meet a relative named Stein, who's from a distant town from where they live in Antwerp. So he asks, "Have you seen my family? Have you seen my family?" And Ellie, knowing that his family has probably not survived, tells him, "Yes, I have." Because sometimes just the peace of mind knowing that they are okay can make one person feel like they can survive this. Ellie knows that they're probably not okay, but he tells them that, "Yes, I've seen them." Stein eventually finds out the truth, and then after that refuses to continue visiting with Ellie and his father because he knows that Ellie has lied to him. During this time, they are seeing unbearable things. People being beaten to death, children being thrown into pits, the gas chambers, more than anybody could imagine. They continue to put their faith in God and trust in divine redemption. After their 3 weeks at Auschwitz, they are transported to Buna, which is a camp where they will stay for the remainder of the book.